Hello everybody, this is Briefcase bringing you another game from the MLG North American League. This time it is between No Love Gaming as well as a team called the Joikernaught. And that is just lovely. I love seeing those interesting names. Joikernaught, of course, Juggernaut, but with the Joik. Really excited to see these two teams play. Never seen them play before, and that's what's so exciting. It's something new, it's something fresh. I'm hoping for some interesting picks and bans, but we'll see exactly how it goes. No Love Gaming now has banned out Batrider as their first ban. Of course, a very strong ban, and now they ban out Darkseer as well. And I've mentioned this so many times, both of those heroes very good at doing exactly what they want to do, and just being so good everywhere all at the same time. They're very utilitarian. They can go, well, I mean, Batrider, mid, jungle, off lane if need be, can be a part of a weird tri-lane. Darkseer, though, of course, can off lane very effectively if things aren't going his way. He just rotates to the jungle, and he is doing just fine there as well. The Joikernaught, however, has opted to ban out some very strong heroes as well. OD, of course, just shuts down pretty much most mids that are popular nowadays. Shuts down your Pucks, Queen of Pains. Also banning out the Wisp, which of course I think is a very good idea. I don't know how these teams like to play it, but of course Wisp completely changes how the game is generally played. Unless you can get the upper hand, in which case it can be kind of scary to be Wisp, but overall completely and utterly changes exactly how each team has to play. And that, a lot of the times, nobody wants to get into that kind of territory. No Love Gaming now does pick up that first pick, Naga Siren, and we've seen this a lot lately, especially in the MLG League. Even I haven't been paying too close attention to some of the other professional leagues, but we've been seeing those very early Naga Siren pickups, and I always think they're just terrific and such a good pickup to get with your first or second picks when it comes right down to it, because it keeps your opponents guessing. Of course, Naga Siren is a very strong support nowadays, and most people will like to run her as such. But she can also, in a pinch, be used as a carry or semi-carry type of role. And not even that, but her ensnare does go through BKB, and that is just, she's essentially a very good anti-BKB hero. If somebody does pop a BKB, you just pop her ult and everybody goes for that one hero for 7 seconds, and usually we'll be able to kill it when it's 5-on-1. If that's not the case, you just ensnare that one hero, and a lot of time that shuts down a lot of BKB users. Sven, of course, really needs to be in range to do that damage. Lycan is another BKB user. I think I just casted a game with him, and he just gets completely shut down by ensnare. The Joikernaught, however, now has picked up Visage and Lone Druid in response to that Naga Siren, both of which do not generally go BKB, which is fine, just fine. Of course, Visage, a very strong hero, especially early game, and he does start to fall off near the very late game, but is still pretty constant and pretty useful throughout most of the game as well. That Soul Assumption just does so much damage early on and provides so much burst, and against someone like Weaver, that's exactly what you want. Lone Druid, of course, a very strong offlaner, can also mid in a pinch and safe lane. He's essentially, he can jungle as well. He's just so useful at all of those roles. He's just so good at all of those roles, as long as you play him correctly, that a lot of the time he can really snowball, or not snowball, but he can really just farm his little heart out, whilst also being relevant in the mid to early game. Pretty much as soon as that bear hits level 3, as soon as he is level 5, Lone Druid hits level 5 and gets level 3 bear. As soon as that happens, then Entangle becomes a very scary option. Then he can really start to actually put a lot of pressure on the opposing team, and if he's able to farm something up really quickly like a Radiance, he can just be absolutely terrifying from the early game onwards. No Love Gaming did pick up a Weaver now as well. Of course, a very slippery character, very hard to take down, and overall is just a fairly resilient hero, especially against a lineup that doesn't have any stuns as of yet. Of course, Visage familiars do stun, but they're not guaranteed. So I think Weaver, a very nice pickup as well. No Love Gaming has now also banned out Nyx Assassin, not wanting to give the Joikernaughts any more burst, it would seem. They already have their incredibly late game carry in Lone Druid. Visage provides a lot of utility early on. And I suppose they just didn't want to give up a really strong ganking hero like Nyx, not to mention just overall a very strong support in and of himself. The Joikernaught has banned out Queen of Pain, kind of, I can understand it. OD is not in the pool anymore, and as such, Queen of Pain is very viable and a very good pick off and a very good pickup if either team wants to run that mid. Neither of them have a very, very strong mid presence at the moment, and it seems like Joikernaught just absolutely does not want to let any very strong mids exist, taking out Razor as well, usually used as a counter to OD, but overall can also just be a huge nuisance against some people mid. No Love Gaming has banned out an Alchemist now, looking like they wanted to limit exactly who the Joikernaught could get as their second carry, but Joikernaught has picked up a Lifestealer. He was still in the pool, and he is still absolutely terrifying as a carry. Of course, very, very good at dealing with Naga Siren with that rage. If he picks up BKB as well, he can definitely just go through everything and have a field day on Naga. But interested to see exactly who No Love Gaming will pick up. The amount of carries are dwindling, not to mention kind of middle of the run heroes who get a moderate amount of support. So interested to see exactly who they're going to go for. They don't have a dedicated mid yet. Of course, in a pinch, Weaver can go mid, but usually that is not how you want to run him. You really want to play to his slippery strength. You want to put him in the off lane, and where he can farm still fairly effectively, get a lot of experience still, and just not get zoned out of lane. No Love Gaming opts to pick up a Jakiro. They do not have a huge amount of synergy yet, though, for that Jakiro as of yet. Naga Siren's ult, of course, can really set up a lot of stuff, but without a vacuum on Darkseer to provide some really huge Ice Path plays, I'm not sure just how effective he will be yet. Of course, Ice Path and Liquid Fire, very, very strong against the Lone Druid's Bear, as it will lock him down for quite a while, not to mention make him all that much slower in attacking, but overall not too effective against this lineup, especially Lifestealer, who will just eat Jakiro up for breakfast when it comes right down to it. So an interesting pick, of course, a very strong support in and of himself, though, simply based on the fact that he has so much strength, and he does have a huge HP pool. But like I was saying, that's exactly what Lifestealer wants, and now it looks like the Joikernaught might be running a little bit of a small army lineup when it comes right down to it. Visage's familiars, if he gets an Ags, will be terrifying. Lone Druid has the Bear. Chen, of course, will provide that very early push, not to mention insane amount of heal for his team. And right now, the Joikernaught looks very, very resilient as a team with a huge amount of survivability. Of course, Lifestealer's infest, and overall just general life gain from attacking. Lone Druid, once he does hit level 6 and gets that true form, it is indeed called true form, gets that true form available to him, is so hard to take down with a bear constantly beating on your back. Visage's, of course, Grave Cloak is so strong, or Grave Keeper's Cloak, I should say, is so strong at keeping him alive, at least in the very early start of the team fight. And round that all up with a Chen ult is going to be so hard to take out these heroes, especially past around the 10-minute mark. Once everybody hits around level 6 or so, it's just going to be so difficult to deal with them. Also, chasing is going to be a huge issue for No Love Gaming against these heroes. They're all relatively fast, but more so they all have an escape mechanic, in that Lone Druid will have his bear constantly attacking you, and that can be, of course, your death. Visage has the familiars doing the exact same thing. Chen will have creeps doing that as well. So every single time that they try to dive or chase these heroes, they're going to have something beating on them, and they really need to be aware of that. No Love Gaming, though, has picked up a Nature's Prophet, which I think is a very good idea. So far, the Joikernaught does not have a very good or dedicated ganker who can really deal with Nature's Prophet. They do not yet have the mobility, and No Love Gaming, of course, now banning out that Storm Spirit to make sure that Nature's Prophet has the room he needs to split push all day long and really abuse that global teleport of his. The Joikernaught has banned out TA, really wanting to limit those mids to No Love Gaming, of course, and with No Love Gaming also banning out the Storm Spirit, the amount of possible middle heroes is dwindling quite rapidly. Puck is still, though, in the pool, and might not be a bad choice for either team when it comes right down to it. He is very good at initiating, and the Joikernaught, when it comes right down to it, they lack a hard and fast, poppable, targetable stun when it comes into it, of course. You can set up some nice ganks with Chen. You can hope for some entangles with the bear. You can hope for some familiar stuns with Visage. But overall, you don't have anything that is a sure and fast stun. So you might want to pick up something. They might want to pick up something similar to that. And Puck has that in spades when it comes to Dreamcoil. So interested to see exactly who they're going to go for. The Joikernaught now actually has picked up a Windrunner. Shackle Shot can provide that early stun for those team fights. And I suppose that's a strong offline if that's the way they want to run her. Lone Druid, of course, can run that in a pinch as well. So interested exactly how they're going to run this Windrunner, though. I think quite a good pickup as well, is quite good at the anti-push. And there it is, No Love Gaming really figuring that they need to be a far more slippery and far more mobile team. Nature's Prophet as well as Tinker, as soon as those Boots of Travels are up on Tinker, not to mention being a very good mid hero. I think this plays onto their team strength so well at the moment. And I think just overall a very good pickup by No Love Gaming. It's going to make it very difficult for the Joikernaught to really gain a lot of map control. But if the Joikernaught can keep the fight going and keep this battle going into the very late game, No Love Gaming's heroes will start to fall off. Of course, Weaver can be very strong. Nagasiren can get into that carry role if they need her to. But I think overall, No Love Gaming's Nature's Prophet as well as Tinker are going to have to really set the pace of this entire battle through their amount of split push and constant pressure on the lanes. That is some delicious tap water. Looks like a little connectivity issues for purple at the moment. Something about lag, something about needing to pee. You bet, not the end of the world, of course. No problem whatsoever. But like I was saying, these two lineups are very different at the moment. You have No Luck Gaming, or is it No Love? No Love Gaming up top on the dire side with a very mobile team when it comes, I mean, past probably about the 10-15 minute mark. You'll have Tinker with Boots of Travel. You'll have Siren porting around all day long. We'll probably be going a kind of a push strat, a counter push strat, as well as a split push kind of strat. Weaver, of course, is so slippery and just stays in the mid lane. And with Naga Siren available to just basically reset every big team fight available to them. If things aren't going their way, then they can most likely all get away when it comes right down to it. Nagasiren will just have to have a TP on her at all times. Devil 2Hey has to Sakuchi away, no biggie. Tinker will just Boots of Travel away. Nature's Prophet will simply TP out as well. Jakira's the only one who's a slow little dragon and might have a little bit of a hard time being in those team fights. But of course, overall can be very scary, not to mention Nagasiren's synergy with Tinker. If Nagasiren pops that ult, Tinker can get down a whole lot of March of the Machines if that's the route he plans to go. And he can probably get 2 going before they get rid of it, which can make it just a huge nuisance to fight in. And as far as who is playing who, let's see who we have. We have Siren playing as the Nature's Prophet. Not a Burglar is the Jakiro. Dragon Master is playing Nagasiren. Uni as the Tinker. And Devil 2High is playing as the Weaver. On the Radiant team, Team Joikernaught? I can't remember exactly. We have Toxin playing as the Lifestealer. Kenai has Cookie as the Lone Druid. Apathy now is playing Visage. We have Joik playing as Chen, and all the while you got DK here playing as this Windrunner, who might actually be going mid. It seems hard to say. We'll see how it goes. Has an El Talisman, usually is picked up by mids to get that early better last hitting. As you can see, Tinker has done that as well. It looks like Tinker and Windrunner with these items actually have the exact same amount of base damage, so that last hitting will be very similar. It's going to be hard to see exactly who can pressure each other in that lane if Windrunner is indeed going mid, which it definitely looks like she is. Now it looks like we have Team No Love Gaming putting in those wards, trying to block those camps. They have blocked the hard camp right here. They have also blocked this pull camp, and interested to see if the Radiant team, I want to say Joikernaughts, it's got to be based off of, where is it? Team Joikernaughts are going to be able to spot these with any sort of detection anytime soon. I'm not sure if their teams had any. They do have the observers on the Chen, but overall, we'll see how it goes. Kenai has Cookie has gone for the Lone Druid top solo lane, and he's going to be pulling with this Spirit Bear. There he is, just sets it there, catches only catches 3 of them, doesn't catch all of them. A little bit of a misplay, it seems, and now let's get these last hits up and see exactly how people will do. We have this DK, and Windrunner has such a nice attack animation. I think this might go in favor of this Windrunner at the moment. Can harass Tinker down quite a bit when it comes right down to it. But of course, with that laser, makes it very hard to last hit or deny, and can be a huge nuisance. As far as this bottom lane, though, it is not too scary, seeing as how the Weaver does not have a stun, but can dole out quite a bit of damage against this lifestealer. So overall can be quite terrifying. You have Ensnare, you have Ice Path available, as well as Dual Breath in a pinch. Not to mention Sakuchi can really lay on that early damage. So interested to see how exactly it will go. It looks like they can't quite find these wards. Sadly, this sentry is out of range by quite a bit, and they're not going to find these. These two sentries very close to each other. This lane just trying to guarantee that they get quite a few last hits, not to mention some big damage. But now Chen helping out with this Wild Wing Ripper, trying to do his darndest to help just harass this lane. Not a Burglar is actually quite low already when it comes right down to it. And now we have minions versus minions. You have Kenai has Cookie, his bear against these Trents, and early on those Trents are they're not going to destroy the bear, but they will contend with it at least a little bit. Uni is doing fine, just fine, is actually falling behind this windrunner by just a smidge. It looks like DK will probably get his bottle before Uni, and that is not where you want to be as a Tinker. You want to be lasering pretty much every chance you get to really deny those creeps and try and get those last hits, and overall it just doesn't seem to be going for him. He has opted to not get heat-seeking missiles, however. Looks like he's going to be going for that March of the Machines plus laser combo, trying to get a lot of damage out with that laser, of course, and the blind is so strong in the laning phase. But having March of the Machines to fall back on once he gets those Boots of Travel is really going to increase his farm. And once that happens, he'll be fine, just fine. It looks like I barely miss out on that first blood. Visage does get the kill against that Weaver, and that is not at all where you want to be at all. That Soul Assumption just so strong at doing that huge amount of burst against Weaver, and more likely than not was just completely caught out. And it was probably brought down a little bit by this tornado, just with the amount of kind of harass that it does. It is so frustrating to lane against, having this tornado basically on your doorstep all day long. Seeing as how Weaver has such a small amount of HP, it can just be so troublesome for him. I mean, there you go. He hasn't even been hit by anything yet, and that tornado has already done essentially a free 225 damage, and that is just absolutely obscene to go up against as a Weaver. Your biggest strength is your ability to maintain within a lane with your Sakuchi, with your kind of deking in and out and your jukes and what have you. And without that, you are so susceptible to being ganked, not to mention just being burst down. As long as you Sakuchi if they see it come out, one big Soul Assumption is going to be enough to absolutely decimate you. And that just must be absolutely terrifying. Now we have Siren harassing the hell out of Kenai has Cookie with these Trents. Of course, both of these heroes never outside of experience range, so they should be doing fine, just fine. Very similar in that respect as well. Uni now has level 2 March of the Machines, has gotten 1 point into heat-seeking missiles, probably just to see if he can get those very nice last hits. And now we have Dragon Master here, trying to make sure that this does not get denied, but the Wild Wing Ripper does get there in time and stops Uni getting that bottle up. And that is going to be so good for DK, who is now going to be bottle crowing all day long. And it looks like he's got a small jump now on Uni. Uni, of course, with 1 charge left in his bottle, but overall, DK's gonna have more regen than him. He's got these healing salves. He's got this tango available to him. And is this bear level 5 yet? So close. He's just sending it at him in preparation for level 5, hoping to get an early entangle. He's chasing him. No entangle yet available, and he ports it back. And that is gonna be all she wrote about that bear hitting that Nature's Prophet. But now Nature's Prophet has to be so careful. 1 entangle, and that could spell his death. Of course, entangle so strong early on. It's just absolutely obscene. DK does not quite yet have his bottle. He is coming back with it. Captain Bamboo flying out to him, using those gliding wings to great effect. You do have Toxin, though, farming very well bought, and it looks like this scary, not even try, is just a dual lane of Visage and Toxin combined with every once in a while an annoying Chen creep, like a Wild Wing Ripper. And this Chen is just playing so well. He's all over the place. He has a stolen Dark Troll Summoner. He just used that Wild Wing Ripper to deny that rune. He's all over the place. He is aiding his team so much, and he's giving them so much space at the moment. It is just obscene. Uni now opts, of course, not to pick up that rearm, instead going for the more March of the Machines and trying to guarantee it. Looks like an engagement down bot. Not a Burglar, though. Will fall. Can't quite get it. Toxin's Rage is just too strong. Down pops Siren. He does have a Sprout available. I don't think they're going to want to go for it. Toxin does have a Quelling Blade. Therefore, Sprout will only ever be a small hiccup in his movement. And overall is not going to provide too much with him. It now looks like Uni is trying to guess the rune, and he guesses wrong. He would not have been able to outrun this Windrunner anyway, with Windrunner picking up this nice invisibility rune. And Uni is just having the absolute worst luck here of his life. Devil Too High. Devil Too High now is running away as the Weaver. He did pop his Sakuchi. There is a Chen Stomp available if and when they need to, not to mention some more Soul Assumptions, which are just so scary at the moment for this Weaver, having so low health. One big Soul Assumption will do about half of his whole HP, and that is absolutely terrifying. Maybe not half. How much is it? 65 times 4. What are we sitting at? About 250? 270? 260? Yeah, about 190, 200-ish. Pretty terrifying still to be a Weaver in that situation. Toxin now just trying to harass him down a little bit, and you usually do not see this. This is not what you want to be. This is not the place you want to be as a Weaver with only 20 CS at the moment, seeing as how you were in an aggressive, or not an aggressive, but you were in a tri-lane at the very least with Toxin here, and now Toxin the one trying to harass Weaver out of lane, and this is not something you see very often at all. If we look at the last hits, however, you see that Toxin is doing absolutely amazing bot. Last hitting underneath the tower, fine, just fine. Getting all the farm he could ever want. And it looks like this DK Windrunner with 22 denies and 35 last hits, he is just outplaying this Tinker. And he is having an absolutely lovely time. Does pop the invisibility, does pop... And pops a bottle charge, just guaranteeing he has as much mana as possible. It looks like he might want to set up a gank on this Tinker. He does have Power Shot level 4 available to him, and if a Chen can pop in as well, this might be the end of Uni. Now DK will want to get out of that March of the Machines, and it looks now like Joik is here to try and provide a little bit of damage. Can't do it yet though. Visage did pick up a kill on Weaver, bot always with that Soul Assumption just doing so much burst. It is absolutely terrifying. Uni though does guess right this time, lucky for him. That's exactly what he wants to happen. And now we have the two supports rotating top with Dragon Master as well as Not a Burglar pushing this top tower with the aid of these Trents, trying to get maybe a little bit of Can I Has Cookie. They do have a lot of ensnares available, and Entangle now on Dragon Master, and that could have been his death with one more if it had happened. Not the case, however. Does actually mirror image out of that. The more you know, folks. And it looks like this top tower will fall. They do have a fortification available for them if they want to, but of course they opt not to use it. They do not need to use it whatsoever. Devil Too High is running around. They do have sentries available to really pepper him and really stop him farming in every respect. He is not having a good lane. Only 23 last hits. He has less than half of the last hits of his Lifestealer counterpart, and Toxin is just having a great time. Has picked up a magic stick, which of course will give him all the health and regen he ever needs to go up against him. Now, falling prey to some Ice Path as well as Dual Breath action. Devil Too High now. These familiars just doing so much damage. He wants to get that Soul Assumption, does so much. Half of Weaver's health in one big hit, and these familiars are doing so much damage to Not a Burglar. Not a Burglar getting caught out as well. And that is in such a good state for this bottom lane. Toxin will just resume here and just basically try and get as many last hits as possible. Now looks like we have Uni running in. Apathy will fall. I don't see how he can get out of this. Toxin might want to rage and protect himself. He wants this infest to be off cooldown. Can't quite do it. And oh, the stun is off of on cooldown. They cannot stun. Would have been able to save him there if he had. And overall, a pretty good trade for both lineups. Now Siren getting caught out quite well. These familiars are here. They have just enough time to stun. DK is here as well. Really wants to get it. Can't quite do it though. Does get ensnared. Now getting body blacked magnificently by Dragon Master. Uni wants to be here. He wants to be in range for this laser. He's not going to get it. It doesn't matter. Nature's Prophet ult does guarantee that kill. And these familiars now have to hide into the forest, not giving up that nice 100 gold bounty that they have. And overall, if we look at these graphs, you'll see that the Joikernaughts, Joikernaughts. The Joikernaughts are actually leading in farm and experience, but because of that recent engagement and that kind of constant team fight, you can see where things stop going their way right around here. But all that while, Can I has Cookie is farming up top. He is not having so good of time, but his bear is able to definitely pick up as much farm as he wants. Devil Too High is very low on HP. He's got to be wary. One entangle, and that might be his death. Not that the bear is ever really close enough, but now it would appear that Uni has picked up his Boots of Travel as well as a Soul Ring, and that is going to completely burst this game wide open. Any amount of farm discrepancy between these two teams, I think, is more likely than not going to get sucked up by this Tinker. Not to mention with these huge stacked Ancients. I have not paid attention. What is that? 4 stacks at the very least? You have 2 Golems, 1 Giant Thunderhide. You have 2 Thunderhides and Black Dragons. That is 5 stacks. This Tinker is going to get so much farm from this. From this alone, he's already got essentially a plus 700 gold from it. And there, indeed, he has essentially got 1,200 extra gold. And if we look at this Golden, that should start putting it down. There's the Ancients right there. And that is absolutely terrifying to go up against with that many Ancient stacks. It looks now like Die Dragon Master. Is he going to stop this spawn? No, gets out of the range just in time. Looks like he wanted to stack it, but of course they were all there, and they were all dead. Weaver now has popped his salve, just trying to get back up to fighting form, but of course this bear is constantly going to be sent at him, and if Canna has Cookie gets 1 entangle on this Weaver, it's probably not going to be his death, but it's more likely than not going to be a forced out reality or time lapse, and that is not what you want to happen as a Weaver. You want to use that to dive. You don't want to use that as essentially just a precautionary measure. And it looks now like Weaver trying to find the farm that he was missing out on pretty much all game. But you do have Toxin down here, bot, and he is farming very well. But Uni now has completely made up pretty much any amount of losing that mid, is already back up to 70, and he's just going to start steamrolling this last hit and denies Graph right here in every single way. If we look at the net worth, he is simply skyrocketed forward. He was nowhere near this before. DK does have a double damage available, but with no points in focus fire, this tower might not fall. He still is doing a huge amount of damage per hit. Obviously, Toxin now trying to zone people out. Of course, Ensnare very good at denying that. Very good at denying that rage and how useful it can be. They do pick up a tower, though, mid, and they do have Kenai has Cookie farming his little heart out up top all day long. So, interested to see exactly how this will go with the mobility now that's available for Team No Love Gaming. Siren and Uni, I think, will start split pushing this entire game up. As long as, if this bear happens to get a Radiance, though, anytime soon, this could completely and utterly counteract any amount of split push when it comes right down to it. Of course, Tinker very good at dealing with heroes, not so much at dealing with bears. Now looks like Siren has ported top. Looks like Tinker will be... No, it is indeed not a burglar instead. Looks like they might want to set up some sort of gank here. Kenai has Cookie as well as Apathy now are trying to set up their own gank on Siren. 1 entangle would provide that kill, and it now looks like Die Dragon Master with not a burglar are trying to set something up themselves. These familiars, of course, trying to scout stuff out. I don't think this bear actually does stop. No, it does not indeed. And now with 4 heroes top, 3 heroes as well for Team the Joikernaughts. Interested to see exactly what Uni has picked up his Blink Dagger, gonna be so strong. The Shackle Shot does not latch, however, not a burglar now. Everything is falling on DK. He does not have a Quelling Blade, but a lot of it not hitting. In pops Tinker. There is a lot of stuff going on. Not a burglar now. Does get ensnared, but it is not quite enough. Siren, though, does get it. What is that called? Ensnared as well by this Dark Troll Summoner. Uni has popped in now as well. He is back in the fray, and this is what is so terrifying about this goddamn Tinker. Siren does fall now as well. That is not what you want to have happen. And with a lot of buybacks coming out from both teams, it is not the end of the world. Siren has bought back pretty much immediately, opts to port bot and push this tower, knowing that a lot of people are still up top. Toxin is here, though, and if he can get this Rage and Open Wounds on Siren, it might be his end. He does not have any way to stop this TP, however, so Siren will go home and will be completely and utterly safe. Joik is here. He's trying to basically move these creeps around, figure out what they're doing, micro these very effectively, but it is just so hard to deal with this Tinker. And I'm sure that Uni has practiced this Tinker before. He's going to know all about shift queuing up those Blink Daggers into lasers, into heat-seeking missiles, into March of the Machine combos with this Boots of Travel. And that is just absolutely terrifying to be in. Now, Tinker, of course, with Blink Dagger is so scary, being able to blink in and out of every team fight, essentially at his will. And the interesting thing is that even if you're getting pounded on, if they don't have a way to stun you, you can simply rearm, shift Q up a blink as soon as rearm is done, and I'm pretty sure even if you are in constant damage type of situations, like even if you're in constant damage situations, similar to Acid Spray, you're gonna be fine, just fine, of just blinking away, and it's not gonna be any skin off of your teeth at all. Dragon Master does have a double damage rune. Looks like he tried to do a little bit of pressure onto Toxin, but of course Toxin says, I don't care at all. I'm lifesteal. I'll just eat you for breakfast as soon as you come within range. Apathy now is mid. He has picked up this Medallion of Courage, and I'm sure now that the Joikernaughts really want to open up this game, make a little bit more space for themselves, and with this medallion could pick up a nice Roche if that's what they choose to do. But as far as the net worths are concerned, I mean, it's just going to be Uni leading the pack forever, because now, because of this Boots of Travel and this Max Martial Machines, he's already level 13. He is so much higher than everybody else. 13 for him, 2 beyond everybody else, and I mean, he's more than double the Jakiro at the moment. Jakiro is not getting any experience or farm of his own at the moment. Toxin is just farming in the jungle. No fuss, no muss. And now it looks like everybody being a little bit passive. Everybody trying to get up to the next big item. Kenai has Cookie. Looks like he is indeed going to be going for that Radiance on the bear, which of course will really help his team deny the split push from this very strong split pushing lineup. So I think almost an essential pickup by him, and he's probably just gonna wait around and just try and farm up that relic as quickly as possible. You do have a kind of a limited counter of time though, while Uni as well as Siren run around trying to get as much farm as they possibly can. Siren of course does have a Hand of Midas available to them. Very scary position to be in, and of course the longer the game that this goes on, the stronger that the Joikernaughts team will get with this Lone Druid as well as this Lifestealer. It's going to get so much stronger available to them. There now is a double stack of dragons available for Uni to pick up with this couple of March of the Machines casts as well. Not going to be enough to get it all in one, and that's fine, just fine. He'll just do another, probably port away, get that experience, however, guaranteeing it with that second round of them as well. And now it looks like they might want to set up a gank on this Weaver. He does not have too much farm, and he still is actually very squishy when it comes right down to it. He's only still having 720 health. Weaver opting to actually get phase boots. I can understand this, as with Geminator attack, it really helps to have a lot of damage, and having an extra attack speed is not too essential when it comes right down to it. But of course, because of phase boots, you can be so you will remain so squishy all game long. You usually want to get those power treads up fairly early to make yourself not as glass cannon-ish. But does have the phase boots. Kind of a weird pickup, seeing as how Sakuchi provides pretty much all the movement speed you ever need for Weaver, not to mention an added phase in there as well. And now it looks like these two teams have traded out towers, a top for a bottom, but this split push down here, they might get a second tower available to them as well. With Dragon Master here with his ult, if anything goes pear-shaped, all he has to do is pop it, and that's going to be a guaranteed getaway. Kenai has Cookie is getting very close to that relic, however. These Trents just feeding him a smidge of gold whenever they want, and now it looks like Devil Too High might be caught out now. He is going for the Joik, however. Joik might be able to, here, gets the stun off on him. Do they see him? It does not look like they do. Uni does pick up a haste rune, and he's going to use this. Devil Too High is here to get Joik. Joik does indeed fall. Getting that shackle on Uni is going to be big, but nobody can capitalize on it. There's just too many people around, and with this terrifying Blink Tinker, who is getting very close to being not 6-slotted, but he is just has so much more farm than everybody else. He's getting very terrifying. Not even Lifestealer can contest him now, not with this Ghost Scepter available to him, which completely and utterly shuts down Lifestealer. Kenai has Cookie very close to getting Relic, however, and now it looks like a small breath of fresh air for both teams. Both of them opting to back off, try and get a little bit more farm. Looks like Nature's Prophet really wants to probably farm up into that Shadow Blade, which of course is a very, very good pickup in this regard, making the other team have to buy detection just for you when you are split pushing is just going to be so strong and so obnoxious to play against when it comes right down to it. And I think that No Love Gaming just playing their lineup very, very effectively. Both of them doing absolutely amazingly. Of course, both teams doing very, very well, but now No Love Gaming just really, really abusing the mobility of their team and exploiting the fact that the Joikernaughts are having a very, very hard time dealing with their constant pressure. And if you look around the map right now, you see that Uni is here. He has Blink always available, has picked up a Dagon now. He will start getting very, very terrifying to pretty much everybody who doesn't have a lot of health. Kenai has Cookie, will be safe from all the burst in the world, but DK is like very scared as well. Joik has even less health than him. Visage should be fine with up to level 3 Gravekeeper's Cloak. That's going to provide him a huge amount of resistance from this Tinker. But overall now, Uni's still very scary against the supports that he is up against. It looks like Kenai has Cookie has picked up his relic. Not sure exactly where it is. It must be on the... There it is. It is indeed on the bear. Has picked it up. And now he is a simple 700 gold away from getting Radiance. A little bit slower than you would usually want on a Lone Druid. You usually want it pre-20 minutes. Then you know things are going quite well for yourself. But overall, will still massively increase his farm. Might be able to actually contest with the Tinker when it comes right down to it, but this Lone Druid is actually not farming nearly as effectively as you want a Lone Druid to. If we look at the net worth right now, you see that this Windrunner DK actually has more farm than the Lone Druid, and that is not at all what you want to happen. Siren has finished his Shadow Blade, however, and that's just going to make him so obnoxious in this game and so hard to gank pretty much all day long. But if you look at these lanes and you look at this map, and if we go to actually, what is that? Radiant Vision, you see that they actually can't see too much. They do have these ward spots available, and you do have this slightly aggressive ward right here, but overall, I mean, they don't have that much vision over here. They don't have much vision on the dire side whatsoever, and beyond that, their lanes are just constantly pushed in, and every single one is always in threat of getting pushed, and that is just so difficult for this team to deal with at the moment. With Tinker available, not to mention Nature's Prophet, Siren, as well as this Slippery Weaver, they really have to dedicate a lot to each one of these lanes just to make sure that their towers don't fall. Of course, the longer that this game does go, the stronger and stronger the Joikernaughts team will get, as long as the Lone Druid can find his farm as well as Toxin. Of course, Devil 2 High has almost got his BKB. Not going to provide too much use, though. Oh, does land a beautiful Shackle. Does get to pop the Sakuchi, though, just in time. And now opting to time-lapse away. Of course, resetting the Sakuchi cooldown. I think it does. And now it's getting away. Oh, is that a free courier? DK just barely... Oh, he does actually blink. Looks like it was a max range blink. And very nice play by DK. Not sure exactly what was on that courier. I don't want to think about it. Apathy is chasing along with Toxin. Does not look... They do have sentries available, though. It does look like Weaver is going to get caught out. And with that time-lapse being used earlier, that is an easy and free kill for Team the Joikernaughts. Now looks like Siren is here. And that bear is now very scary against Siren. He does not have too much health. Only 1,000 to him. And with that Radiance burn now on this bear, I'll be very interested to see just exactly how farmed this Lone Druid can get and how late this game is going to go. It's still anybody's game when we get to it. When we look at the graphs, 2,000 is absolutely nothing this late in the game. And the experience almost exactly even. Still very anybody's game at the moment. And with this nice smoke being used, they're really trying to find a pickoff, and then now it looks like the Joikernaughts are trying to... Oh, DK now blinking in. This is such a mobile Windrunner. Has max level of Windrun, has a Blink Dagger, has a Force Staff as well, and the Joikernaughts now trying to flip the pressure on to No Love Gaming. Trying very hard right now to really make sure that No Love has to team fight, and as long as they can do that, as long as the Joikernaughts can provide so much pressure in a single lane that No Love Gaming has to have at least 4 of their heroes here. Of course, Nature's Prophet is pretty much never in any team engagement. He just does not provide too much in that regard. He's more of a show up at the last minute and guarantee kills type of guy. But as long as the Joikernaughts can provide enough single lane pressure to make sure that the vast majority of No Love Gaming's heroes are in that lane, then No Love Gaming's huge amount of mobility that they have available to them is just going to go right out the window, and it's not going to mean anything when it comes right down to it. Can I has Cookie? Where is your bear, sir? All I want to know is where your bear is. It's not mid. Where is it? Have you sent it top? Oh, it doesn't matter anymore. It's with you. All right, I'll be looking for that slightly teal little dot on the map a little bit more now. But now it looks like Can I has Cookie. He is farming up quite a bit. If we look at the net worth, he has gone from being behind the windrunner to just ahead, and he used to be, I think, he used to be right about where the Weaver was, around the 6,000, 7,000 gold, and within that short amount of time, about 3 minutes, he has actually skyrocketed up to 4th place, right behind this Nature's Prophet. But of course, they are constantly stacking these Ancients. They're being so good about it, and just providing all of the stacks to Uni whenever he wants. And now, let's get it back to everybody Vision, to everybody Fog. So sorry about that, folks. Just forgetting, looking mostly at the what is it? The Joikernaughts. Mostly looking at the Joikernaughts, kind of forgetting now that No Love Gaming was even in this game. Of course, the Weaver now is still working on this BKB. Not sure exactly how strong that's going to be in this fight. It's not like he's up against Tinker, where, of course, BKB is very strong. Martial Machine Stow's still a huge issue to go against. And now it looks like the Spirit Bear has picked up a Hyperstone. And while Can I has Cookie is farming bot pretty much all day long, he should be planting this bear in a lane. Looks like a little bit of miss-microing at the moment. Wants to get it there right pretty much all day long, but you can no longer teleport your Spirit Bear back if he's taken damage within the last 3 seconds, and you can't even, as far as I know, you can't even re-summon the Spirit Bear back as long as he's taken that amount of damage. But Can I has Cookie, of course, it just has so much life in this true form that he does not really need to be scared of Tinker at the moment. He only still has Dagon 1 plus laser, you're sitting at 400, plus homing missile sitting at 1,000. That's only half of your life, and it looks like an engagement is indeed going down. Nagasiren does get caught out. Lots of dual breaths falling down on DK. There's that Chen heal as well. He does pop the dust on this Weaver. Oh, a beautiful shackle, and he's just barely getting away, but can't quite. That stupid little bug does indeed guarantee the kill. It now looks like Toxin does get a lucky stun. Would have killed him anyway as well. Devil too high now. Looks like he is running away. Might want to time lapse himself out. No, opts to just keep running. And you do have Siren here as well, trying to push this tower down while that's all happening. Instead, now porting bot, stopping this push from these creeps as well. And a very interesting game. And if we look at these graphs, it's now still in favor of the Joikernaughts. It has been pretty much all game as far as gold, which I have to admit is a little bit odd, I must say. Just for the amount of farm that this Tinker has, it's kind of intimidating, I must say, when it comes right down to it. So still anybody's game. Can I has Cookie now being completely caught out. A big gank though. Uni using this very effectively, and very scary. Very scary to be that lone druid. Joik now being completely caught out. There's no way for him to get away. Oh, and with that, a Gem of True Sight down, and that is not what you want to have happen at all. These familiars giving up quite a bit of farm. Oh, Uni can't quite get it, and now it looks like they are really just going to try to guarantee this. They might try to snipe it with these familiars, but most of their team fight, not even team fight, the Radiance Bear is down. They do not have Chen heal available, and with Uni constantly here and being so annoying all day long with those March of the Machines, I don't see how the Joikernaughts can really contest this. DK just barely getting caught out by that Ice Path. Very nice though. However, looking to see if he might be able to snipe this. He does have Blink available. He does have Force Staff. He wants to pick that up. Goes to the Dire, however. Uni though does not fall to DK, and DK is just able to run away very nicely. Weaver has picked up the Aegis himself, and I think overall, it looks now like No Love Gaming might have swung this back, maybe not in their favor, but it's still now a very even game. Uni, of course, working very, very hard to get that sheepstick available to him. I'm sure that these are his on the cooter. It looks like he has it, and now he is going to be so terrifying for everybody on the Joikernaughts. With that ability to teleport pretty much everywhere, just cast March of the Machines all day long, heat-seeking missiles, as well as laser. It now looks like Dragon Master might be getting caught out. He does have Sing available. He might be able to save himself, does not opt to use it, thinking he should just save it for the next team fight, which I happen to agree. But that is an easy pick-off for the Joikernaughts. And now these two lanes, top and bottom, are both going to get very split pushed in right about now. Siren as well as Devil Too High is up top. But it does indeed look like Kenai Has Cookie has sent his bear bot, opting to just get these ranged creeps. Not the end of the world. This tower is going to take a little bit of damage, but that's fine. Just fine right now. Spirit Bear, of course, this is going to make farming for Kenai Has Cookie just so much better at the moment. And if we look at the GPM, he should be getting up there. He's still slightly behind Toxin at the moment, but he is getting up there. And with this bear constantly in lane, constantly getting those Radiant creep kills, he's going to be getting so much more. He should be eclipsing Toxin fairly soon as far as that GPM goes. And let's keep an eye on it, shall we? Now it looks like we have 4 heroes top doing a little bit of pushing of their own, but all the while you have Team No Love Gaming getting that mid tower, and they have the force right here. They have 4 heroes right now, 1 with double damage even, and they might want to go for this tier 2. And of course, it is just so hard to push up against a Tinker. All he has to do is rearm, cast March of the Machines a couple times, and you're pretty much guaranteed to stop that push dead in its freaking tracks. But you do have the bear here providing quite a bit of damage now to these creeps and farming it up. He is almost eclipsed Toxin at the moment. There is quite a bit of damage now going down here. It looks like Not a Burglar is trying to get both DK and Toxin, gets both of them, but it looks like DK does fall. Not a Burglar though is getting quite destroyed by Toxin. All of the dust being thrown down for Devil Too High, opts not to time lapse now, does do it indeed. Toxin will fall, and that March of the Machine is just doing so much damage. Kenai Has Cookie is being completely caught out now, and it looks like Not a Burglar has no idea what just happened. And Uni just being so effective in that fight. And I haven't even mentioned this, but of course, Uni can teleport to any creep available. Now has Dagon 3. He's getting even scarier to play against now. But like I have mentioned, with Uni's ability to TP anywhere, this is something that is very noteworthy. Now opting just to murder Chen so quickly, so outright. And look how mobile Uni is all game long. He is so terrifying. But let me finish this thought. Because Uni can TP anywhere, this team that he has is so good for him because of these Trents. You have Siren here with these Trents. All he has to do, and pretty much anywhere Siren can be, Uni can be too, because he can just teleport to those Trents pretty much any day he wants. Uni is here as well, and all he has to do is go Scepter. The oddest, I must say, Siren song being used now by Dragon Master. I think just guaranteeing that his team does indeed get away, and they do pick off the melee racks for themselves. Oh, and now he just has barely eclipsed Toxin in the GPM category. Toxin at a pitiful 392. Well, we have Kenai Has Cookie at an amazing 392. Absolutely lovely. Whoever gets that kill will skyrocket a little bit. Kenai Has Cookie does indeed get it. Toxin does not, and that's going to bump him up by about 11 GPM per minute. If we look at the net worth, 20,000 on this Tinker, absolutely terrifying, and he just does so much damage now. He has Dagon level 4, and that is just absolutely terrifying to go up against. Dagon level 4, laser as well. What is that? Dagon level 5 now, plus laser. You're sitting at 1,100 plus heat seeking. What is that, 1,400? And all he has to do is rearm. Takes 1 second and he can do it all over again. I think he definitely has enough to do 2 of those. And it looks like more likely than not, he can burst pretty much anybody down on this entire Joikernaughts team. Can he burst down Kenai Has Cookie? It's doing probably about 2k net. He does indeed. Now, Devil Too High getting chased by this bear. There is no gem on them, however, so he will be able to get away. It looks like constantly getting radiance, though. Has gotten shackled. Why has he stayed there that long? Completely overstaying his welcome, however. And Lifestealer Toxin does get the deny off on this tower. And Uni now able to burst down a Lifestealer, it looks like. He wants to get this infest off, does not have it available. Of course, Uni does have Ghost Scepter available, just needs to wait for this rage to fall off. And opts instead to blink down, does not get the kill, however. And it looks like just outside of his capabilities to kill this Lifestealer outright. Might want a little bit more disable, a little bit more mana. A little higher intelligence would definitely guarantee that he could get this sheep off a second time, and that could be the end of this game. If this Tinker can essentially solo kill any single hero at any one time, anywhere on the map even, that could just be too terrifying to go up against. It looks like Siren now has gotten his own sheep stick, of course, very good at dealing with the amount of late game heroes that the Joikernaughts have available to them. And now this is just getting so scary to go and play up against this Tinker. No Love Gaming, there's the difference in gold, just skyrocketing ahead with this Tinker getting so many kills. And look at these huge engagements, all of them, just so many of these are Tinker getting that Rax as well. With the mid tower, or with the mid lane constantly being pushed in, you combine that with Uni as well as Siren, and now he's popping in. He's trying to get this, but a blink into blink, just getting away by DK. Very nice to see. If we look at the experience now, massively in favor. It is getting recouping up a little bit, up to 10k for No Love Gaming, but overall, massively in favor of No Love Gaming. Kenai has Cookie. He has picked up a cloak simply to contend with this Tinker. He does not want to get bursted down that badly. Chen creeps falling to that Dagon very quickly. Chen, of course, must be absolutely terrified. If he ever does see Tinker, he's pretty much guaranteed to die. And now the amount of split pressure going on is just so scary and so hard to deal with for the Joikernaughts, that they must just be shaken in their boots, especially when even if they go in and try to contend with this Tinker, it is so difficult. Not even Toxin can really deal with them. I think he can actually Ghost Scepter into Rearm, into Ghost Scepter, and pretty much guarantee his ability to get out of any fight with Toxin. Devil Too High has picked up now his Desolator. He's going to be doing quite a bit of damage when it comes right down to it, and can really probably burst down these supports. Chen, of course, is so squishy. I don't know if he could get Apathy outright, Apathy with those stuns, not to mention Soul Assumption can definitely hold his own against a Weaver who is so squishy as well. Interested to see exactly how this will go out. Dragon Master, though, has picked up an Invisibility Rune. Interested to see if he can make some good use of it. If he can pop it and get a very nice Siren Song off, he might be able to really sway a team fight into No Love's favor. But now both teams farming up just a smidge. Looks like Lifestealer wants to finish off this Assault Cuirass, and I don't blame him. However, there already is one on the Spirit Bear. Will Lifestealer instead be going for a Mjolnir? It could be a possibility. Does not have any of the other work up to it, however. So interesting to see, seeing as how they already have one Assault Cuirass, it is very much a waste to buy another one. It's a very wasted aura. A Vlad's would not be too bad now at all, however, for this team, just to give everybody a little bit more armor. That is not what you're very scared against, though. However, you are terrified of this Weaver, so a pipe should be coming soon in the future, I would hope, for this team. Looks like they have smoked up, sending the bear first to scout, see if they can't catch anybody out. Of course, the bear not able to attack or do much. Roshan is going to be off cooldown fairly soon. Give it about 40 seconds, folks. 30 seconds, my bad. Give it about 30 seconds, and that Rosh will be coming back up. And I think both teams just waiting to see if that Rosh can fall into their hands, and depending on how that Rosh fight goes, will dictate a lot and very heavily exactly how the rest of this game is going to play it out. Of course, if the Joikernaughts are able to get it, more likely than not going to go to Toxin. They might feel safe enough and strong enough to really push in a lane, maybe even try to burst down the towers and go for an Ancient. However, though, this Roshan is up now with these Trents, as well as Dragon Master here with Song of the Siren available, not to mention the ability of Uni to essentially constantly cast March of the Machines. The Filmmakers have indeed scouted out. Dragon can't quite get that one. but is getting harassed quite a bit by these familiars. I just don't see any way that the Joikernaughts can contest this, with March of the Machines constantly available, not to mention the amount of split push that would happen if they ran here and try and get it. It looks like trying just a little bit to deny that. Aegis can't quite get it, however, and that's fine, just fine. Though now it looks like No Love Gaming in a much better position than the Joikernaughts. They are leading in gold and experience massively, and with this, the Weaver now has almost 3 lives available to him, with a proper use of time-lapse, not to mention having just Aegis. He's going to be so hard to take down, and with that, you really want to take down a Weaver early in the fight, because the longer he stays in it, the more damage he will just constantly do, and he'll find that damage, he'll find those supports, and he'll kill them. Tinker now looks like he is getting damn close to getting up that Ethereal Blade, making him all the more terrifying if that's what he chooses to go. You do now have 4 of No Love's heroes up top, and with that now, however, DK has picked up a sheepstick of his own, might provide them a little bit of leeway when it comes to dealing with this Tinker, not to mention this Weaver as well, and now it looks like they are pushing all up top, up 5. Toxin has picked up, however, an Abyssal Blade of his own, just trying to front load as much damage as possible and really guarantee those stuns. Going to be so useful against Uni, as well as Devil 2 High. And really, if you think about it, an Abyssal Blade is very similar in use for a right-clicking melee hero as a sheepstick is for an intelligence hero in this game. Very good, kind of guarantees that stun, guaranteeing that disable as well. It looks like Lifestealer has picked up a nice and easy kill against this Nature's Prophet along with DK. Very nice, and not surprising considering just how mobile DK is. With Phase Boots, Wind Walk, Blink Dagger, as well as Force Staff, I'm sure he can chase anybody or get to anybody in no time flat. Nature's Prophet, though, has picked up a Monkey King bar now. He wants to be doing a little bit more DPS for his team, seeing as how Weaver is essentially the sole right-clicker. And the longer that this fight goes on, and the longer this battle goes on, just the scarier and scarier, and the more 12-slotted this Lone Druid can get. It looks like a gem was picked up, not sure by who yet. Somebody saying a new gem is on the field. Not a burglar, though, does not have it. Does Siren have it? Nobody seems to have it yet. Uni, of course, does not. DK does have a gem of his own. Can I has Cookie does not have it. Joikernaught as well. Toxin, no gem on you. Visage, not either. What about this bear? Does it have to be on the bear? It looks more or less like it is only on DK. Perhaps the other gem went to No Love Gaming, and they have opted just to keep it in. But now look at this. DK, as well as the rest of his team, the Joikernaughts, must just be quaking in their boots. They can see so little here. They do have vision of this up top, feeling like they might be getting this pushed in from No Love Gaming, but overall, they have absolutely no vision. They're just having the hardest time in this game. They cannot make any ground either, and it looks like a possible very slow siege going to happen. DK now chasing after Siren with this Toxin Infest Bomb, and that's going to be Siren falling as well, and I think that's exactly how they're playing this. Uni, though, does simply Ethereal Blade himself a million times over. Can he kill 2? I don't think he has the mana to do this. All he has to do, though, is Ethereal Blade all day long, and it looks like this top tower getting sieged quite effectively. Dragon Master does opt to pop this, but of course, Familiar's unaffected. Will they get the kill? They do get the kill on Dragon Master. Might guarantee a kill now on Not a Burglar. Looks like they opt not to yet, however. DK is here as well, does still have sheep available. They might have wanted to continue to fight this, but it looks like they did not have the DPS available to them at the moment. Kenai has Cookie too far behind. His bear, of course, cannot attack while he is that far away. And all the while, you just have Uni porting around, constantly keeping these lanes pressured. And if we look at these net worths, you'll see that, of course, Uni is just doing so obscenely well. He is just he's basically 6-slotted. Might want to get rid of this Soul Ring at the moment. It looks like the old gem is somewhere in the Dire base. Should we look for it, folks? There it is indeed. So a new gem was picked up by DK not too long ago, has popped a smoke just in case Siren or Uni opted to go bot. It has been a lane that they really do want to go into and really want to keep that push up. But now with this Radiance Barrack pretty much constantly here, guaranteeing those last hits for Kenai has Cookie It's just so difficult to go against. Toxin now is getting notoriously close to being incredibly scary. Has just as much bonus damage as his base damage now. Oh, there it is. Devil Too High. Getting popped off by Toxin and DK. Not sure if they're going to have the ability to actually Oh, but of course Abyssal will go through BKB. It's not quite enough. Might want a time lapse. And Sakuchi away, of course, simply because the huge amount of mobility that DK has available to himself will really guarantee those kills, and that's exactly what they're doing. The Joikernaughts playing so well, doing infest bombs with a windrunner no less, and it's just playing out so nicely. Kenai has Cookie now. Looks like he's chasing not a burglar. Not a burglar though. Does have Force Staff available as well as Mech, as well as the Ghost Scepter, so he is relatively safe against all these right clickers of the Joikernaughts. And now this is what I'm saying. The Joikernaughts have prolonged this game into the 46-minute mark. They're starting to get very terrifying in their own right. I mean, Kenai has Cookie. He is up to what, 16,000 along with this Lifestealer, up to 17,000 gold each respectively. And that is just in and of itself so terrifying. These very late game carries, neither of them actually being too obscenely farmed, not nearly as farmed as this Tinker, but DK also having just enough farm to really make a huge impact in this game. Joik, however, not having the greatest time of his life. Looks like a little bit of a lag spike happening. A reconnect indeed gonna happen on the side of No Love Gaming. Maybe a little bit of Steam lag, thinks the MLG studio. Interested to see, but that's fine, just fine. And now let's go over some items and see exactly how people are doing. I am getting pinged now by somebody in TeamSpeak. Wait a second while the game is paused. I'm just gonna keep it sitting here on, let's keep it on DK, and I'm just gonna alt tab out and it's gonna freeze the frame, so give me a moment. And I'm back into the game, everybody. Looks like it hasn't progressed yet at all, so I'm fairly certain nothing has been missed out on. I'm just waiting to get called in for a tryout, in fact, and while it's still on pause, let me just take a nice sip of this delicious tap water. But let's go over items and see exactly what everybody is packing. DK now has his Sheepstick, a gem, phase boots, blink, and force staff. Of course, 3 of those 6 items are just all mobility. Not to mention, Windrunner's ability to windrun is just so quick as well. So interesting to see now exactly how this is gonna play out and shake out right now. Both teams looking like they are opting to run away a little bit, go home and protect themselves, as well as farm up, but I don't see any other big items really coming from No Love Gaming. I mean, Devil Too High, he does have quite a bit of money himself. Interested to see exactly what he's going to pick up. Might want to go for that Lincoln's. He is getting shackle shotted quite a bit, but of course, Lincoln's not providing too much damage for a Weaver. Might in fact go for something like a Chrysalis and go for that early, or not early, but go for that Daedalus as well. If we look at the buyback statuses, Weaver does indeed have it. There's quite a few, just a smattering of it. Mostly the supports who can't buy back at the moment. So overall, interested to see exactly how this game's gonna shake out. Siren, of course, is pushing bot whenever they want. And now if we look at the Fog of War for the Radiant team, for the Joikernaughts, they have expanded their search just a little bit. They now have all of this available to them, and that's quite a bit more than just being holed up in your base. And I think what is providing that amount of space for them is these lovely DK infest bomb ganks. They're just doing so well at creating the space and finding little pickoffs here and there, and that's exactly what you need to do when you're cloistered inside of your... When you are cloistered inside of your base, you really need to find those tiny great little ways to find space and pick off those heroes. And now it looks like DK might want to try and go looking for Uni, but he is so far in the trees, there's pretty much no chance of that. And it looks like both teams now simply waiting around until the next Roshan does spawn, which, as we just saw, will be about 2 minutes up. Looks like a Vlad's being picked up. Not sure who by. I just saw it in the off chance over there on the off screen. Who is that Vlad's gonna go on? Is it on Joik? It is not on Joik. Is it on Visage? Wouldn't mind it. There it is, indeed, providing even more armor for his team. And of course, with this Vlad's aura, which is 5 bonus armor, as well as the Assault Cuirass. Where is that bear? There it is, indeed. That's an extra 10 armor for the entirety of your team, making them that much stronger against Weaver, and I suppose Nagasara when it comes right down to it. But it is now getting late enough in the game that I think that they should have transitioned Nagasiren into a carry. Of course, you do have Siren here. Let's get that vision over to both teams. You do have Siren here, who is kind of carrying. He has an MKB available, but if Die Dragon Master had opted to get something like a Diffusal, as well as maybe a Manta in there, he'd be providing just so much more in team fights that it wouldn't even be funny. But now they are just farming up these Ancients a little bit, probably in preparation for this Roshan to be up, and that is going to be so soon, in about, what, 40 seconds or so? And from there, I think that is basically going to decide this game. Whoever can get this next Roshan kill will most likely have the momentum, as well as just the swing to really push in and get those towers and racks. Uni just blinking all over the place, trying to guarantee himself complete and utter safety. Not a burglar now, has picked up a Boots of Travel of his own, and now this team is just getting even more mobile pretty much all day long. Devil Too High trying to find farm is up to 4,600 gold. It looks like the entirety of... No, just the two porous supports on each team not having buyback. Everybody else looks like they're just hoarding it up. And now it looks like No Love Gaming is going for this Roshan. And it doesn't look like the Joikernaughts are really going to contest this whatsoever. They might be able to now with the amount of nice pickoffs they have going on. But I think the constant looming threat of having a Tinker constantly cast March of the Machines might just be too much for them to legitimately want to go in. And now it looks like Siren has picked up a cheese. Devil Too High also has his Aegis now, and a Smoke of Deceit on the ground. Is anybody going to pick it up? Not a Burglar does indeed, having 2 of them, all 2 is lonesome. Devil Too High has picked up a Manta now, and they might want to push this in. Not to mention, Manta is so good at just letting you safely siege towers, and that's really what you want now this late in the game with this sort of lineup. They can't safely siege towers. Of course, Trent do not provide enough DPS and don't have enough health available to them to really deal a lot of damage to towers before they get obliterated. And the tower regen will simply deny that and just make it not worthwhile. You're simply feeding gold to your enemy. The bear, of course, can't attack towers while Lone Druid is nowhere near it. It can simply sit there and Radiance farm all day long. Of course, the March of the Machines can't kill towers. It's just very good at stopping pushes, not to mention killing pushes as well and making your creeps get to the tower. But Manta Illusions are something where they just do plenty enough damage to actually start chipping away at towers. And with this lineup being so mobile, they might just want to park a Weaver outside with a little bit of an accompaniment, and just park him outside and really try and chip away at those towers, because so far, No Love Gaming has had the absolute hardest time breaking high ground. It now looks like Uni might be getting caught out by DK. They just barely miss him. Oh, he does indeed get shackled and pigged. Will he get there in time? They just can't quite do it, though. Uni is here. He does get stunned. Will he fall? And if that's the case, I think he does indeed have buyback available. He does now. But Devil Too High is here as well. Looks like DK and Toxin being caught out just a smidge. DK will fall now as well. And the rest of No Love Gaming is coming now. Apathy might be able to get away. Does not look like it, though. If Devil Too High does get entangled, he will fall. It'll be very difficult for him to actually get away. Of course, with this Aegis, he is none too scared. Buybacks now coming from Toxin, coming from DK as well. Devil Too High using one of his lives with that time lapse, but It is just so hard to fight, and now it looks like that will probably be the GG. I can't see them coming back from this at all. Toxin fell as soon as he got back into that fight, was just permanently pigged there, and now it looks like everybody else falling for the Joikernaughts, and this very mobile team, this split-pushing, very scary team that No Love Gaming drafted has won it for them. It took them a very long time. Now looks like Uni is using this Ethereal Blade all day long, just guaranteeing those few fountain kills and just farming the fountain just a smidge. Will the Ancient die before it automatically explodes? No, it does not. Of course, GG called just too early for that. So thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Briefcase, bringing you another MLG North American League game, and I'll be bringing you a few more today, I think. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.